Okay, this is a paper mache bracelet that I kept an old comic strip on, an alley-oop. People used to call me alley-oop sometimes. And I enjoyed that one. I'm not sure why, I just enjoyed it. And I made this bracelet out of paper mache with wheat paste in oh my goodness. $1966. It's not sure. There it is. And it's coated with lacquer. There's no plastic involved in this at all. I don't remember what I used inside it. So I'm making some now, some 50 years later, 50 some years later. This is step number one. This is actually from a toilet paper tube. These others here are paper towel tubes. And figure out how large you want it, which is large enough to slip over your hand if you squish it like this. And then this is going to get a little thicker inside from the paper mache. And you hold it together. I tried this with staples. It wasn't the greatest idea. You initially hold it together and make sure that it fits on and off. This one's a little bit big. But the old one is a little small. Let me get this off my wrist. Okay, here we go. So this is step number one. You get your toilet paper tube and cut it into several pieces. And one of them is going to be too small and the other two are going to be the same size. And then you carefully put them end to end like this. Not end to end, but overlap them. Now, we're using rice glue. So I wet it up really well inside here and really squish them together. I think I'm going to use paper clips next, so that when they're done, here's a seam. There's no air at all, because this will cause trouble. Getting air holes under it will make little weaknesses that can get poked, and then there'll be a hole in the seal. Or, or it's going to make dry crackling sounds underneath the bracelet. This is a bend, so I'm working this out. So this is stage 2 here. I have these things glued. Stage 3 then is to stabilize them. And I think best is to build up first before putting a strip over both, to really ensure that you don't have any air in those. And by stabilizing those things first, you're going to be able to keep your bracelet more round as you go, because the whole thing gets all wet every time. So that's after stage 2, and it is ready then to have strips glued around and around. I think it's possibly better to glue them diagonally, because this is diagonal to start with. And again, maybe fill some of those before putting one thing over it. Now, this one had air holes in it, so I had to peel those off everywhere. It just wasn't really sticking and stuck down. That's not paper mache. That's just a piece of paper in there that has some glue on it, and it's floating around stuck to nothing. So you just peel it off. So this one's been peeled down a little bit. This one's been peeled down. Don't see any other things. Checking for, that's kind of fun, peeling those off. It might make a good ASMR video. Okay, so this is after, let's see, after stage 2. Here, this one, you see how this is loose? There was too much water, or the paper didn't get wet enough or something. That's not stable. And that's not going to give us a good foundation. I have also discovered that, okay, I'm doing paper mache 50 years late with a different kind of newspaper. This stuff with a whole lot of ink on it is just awful. Nothing sticks to it. It may have plastic in it. I don't know. I'm going to peel that out right now. I can do it with one hand. It's so bad. And it was on a seam. Let's see that. So I am now on my next ones, which have a successful coat on them. The next layer goes the opposite direction. And I found a book, a part of a book in the book bin, so I brought it home because it was a kind of a newsprint. And I put strips going around it now, lateral strips. And just one little bit on the inside to stabilize and, you know, pull against it. Because this stuff, paper's tough stuff when you get the glue on it. It's wood. So anyway, so here are two of these with their second coat on them that's using some book paper instead of the magazine paper, because in the classified ads have gotten fancy, you know, especially around here with a lot of real estate stuff. And there's whole big black areas. Right. All right, so this one that we were just looking at that had a lot of the black ink in it. Whoop, there's more. It just does not, it's waterproof or something, right? It's got something in it that's not letting the water of the rice glue permeate the way that it does in order to really mash this. Now, here's where these things are together, and here they're glued, but they're not, see, fully together here. That needs to be really wet down with wet glue on both surfaces there, and then smushed together with paper clips. Now, the way I figured out that this black ink was a possible culprit was seeing how much of it was left on the cardboard. Right. I think I will use my little sanding block to roughen the surface of this a little bit. Although these are paper towel tubes, and this is toilet paper tubes. This is actually a little thicker, the paper towel tubes. So we'll keep an eye on this one. So this one too, I'm going to glue those. And those have to be really well glued and dry before you start wrapping anything, I've discovered. And then after they're dry, it's a good idea to build up here a little bit at the ends of it, both on the inside and outside, to prevent any air pockets from forming when you're doing the rest of it. All right, so 1, 2, 3, and here we are in putting step layer 1 here. Each layer goes a different way. So this first layer goes this way, the second layer goes that way. I'm looking for Sunday funnies. I think that the food advertising pages have a nice ink that's not a big flat ink that makes that impermeable. Because what you do also to keep track of your layers is one layer is print or type, and then goes vertically, and then the next layer goes horizontally, and that's the funny papers or the color papers. So, and I didn't go out digging through the trash this week for funny papers. Maybe I'll go begging. Okay, so, oops. These are good and wet. These cut edges are not good to have. Torn edges are better because what we're doing is we're mushing wood together. We're basically making the same stuff that many modern houses are built out of, although this might be a little stronger because we're very carefully making sure that the strands are oriented. Just a little bit of snark. Yeah, subscribe, give me a like, a thumbs up. If you click the bell for notifications, you'll be notified when I upload videos. I don't really have an upload video schedule. And make a comment, ask me a question.